the top things that you'll learn in life, especially if you're on the spiritual path, is how to protect your energy. This is a deep practice that has many different layers to it. And I am going to give you those tips. I am going to teach you how to do some of that energy protection. And I also think it's important for us to understand all of the different ways that we are allowing our energy field to be weakened. Because it's not always about an energy attack that needs protection. Sometimes it's just about a weakened energy field or a weakened channel. And your energy field here through the main 7 chakras are what I am referring to when I talk about your channel. Because this is where energy moves in, what comes through. Those chakras act as filters for all of the energy that you encounter externally and internally. Because those chakras filter that energy. It processes that energy on different levels. It processes what you feel, what you think, what you feel and think about what other people are doing around you or what other people are feeling and thinking, because energy is all just information. And it's information that you read through your chakra system, through your clairs. So what is protection? First off, the definition of protection is the act of keeping something safe from injury, damage, or loss. Injury, damage, loss. Energy loss, energy damage. And one of the main 2 words in those sentences, the 2 main words in that sentence is the word act, the act of, and the word safe. Act. First, there are actions that we have to take. We can sit very passively and feel ourselves being attacked, but unless we take an action, and keep in mind an action can simply be bringing an awareness to, making a small thought change, but there's an action that needs to be taken if we want to be safe, if we want that safety piece. Now that second word, safe, that's a loaded word, right? Especially if you're hearing the healing community, because you understand that safety doesn't always mean physically. There's a lot of what goes on internally that makes us feel unsafe, even if we're physically safe in the moment. That's our ego minds. Our ego is always telling us what's safe and what's not safe. And quite often our ego mind will tell us something is safe, even if it's really emotionally, mentally, or physically not safe, just because it's familiar. We understand that. And if you've been here before, you might not fully understand how it works the other way around. When we first start our healing journey, we don't understand how our wounds or our subconscious thoughts affect our physical feelings of safety. But after we've been on the healing path for a while, we don't always remember how our physical environment affects our internal feelings of safety. So we have to return to that over and over again and keep working in this way. There is an understanding I want you to take away from this video. If you get nothing from this video except this one thing, let it be that protection is stewardship, the act of stewardship, which means that if you want to feel safe or if you want to protect your energy, you have to steward over that energy. So let's just talk about the different kinds of safety or protection. There is your physical safety and protection, and this is safety in your physical body, meaning I'm not putting myself into dangerous situations. There is sexual safety. I'm not putting myself again in situations where I'm giving of myself to people or people are taking of me. And then there's also things like nutrition, exercise. This is a real part of our sense of protection. If you want a strong energy channel, you have to be aware of the exercises, the strength of your physical body. You have to be working out, walking. You have to have that strong, healthy body. You have to be aware of what you put into it. Whether we're having small addictions happening, such as alcohol, nicotine, coffee, these are small things that begin to drive our nervous systems, that begin to drive your physical body. Therefore, it's driving your energy. We have to have discernment and awareness. What am I feeding myself? Am I exercising? Am I strong? Am I physically healthy? And what kind of, that leads into the next one, environments am I putting myself into? We have our physical safety, and then we also have environmental safety. And the environments, those are about the places we go, but it's also about our home, the land that we're on. This could be anywhere. Even if you're going into a place that's not technically unsafe, meaning that nobody's being hurt, harmed, shot, or anything like that, walking into a restaurant, that is an environment. Going to a bar or a club, that is an environment. And these places may be very neutral, meaning that they're not outwardly harming people or hurting people, but you're also aware of the energies that are there. What are these people here for? What are they experiencing? How are they acting? How can I be in myself and clear while I'm here? The environments that we're in, maybe just our homes. Our homes are our safe space. But if we're not cleansing our homes, if our homes are holding on to all of our negative energy, our negative thoughts, our self-depreciations, fights that we have there that we keep in the space, then our home slowly becomes an unsafe environment for our energy. We have to make sure that we're upkeeping the land that we live on, the land that we're visiting. When we visit lands, we don't just go onto those lands and do whatever we want and take whatever we want and pick flowers and put rocks in our pockets. You know, there's thanks and offerings that needs to be given to the lands, questions that need to be asked. Whose land traditionally is this that I'm on, and how can I honor that and respect that? Before I pick up a rock, is it legal? There are places where it's illegal to take rocks from, especially sacred mountains. But to asking the environment or the land itself, is this okay to do? Is there an exchange that I can offer? Can I bless this land? Can I love this land? Can I touch this land? How can I heal this land? Your environments are important. So we have the physical protections, environmental protection. We also have financial protections when we think of protection. Now, with financial, this is your money, your job. Sometimes this rolls into your home as well, because we pay for our homes and our houses. But with financial protection, again, this goes into discernment. What do I need to make money? Am I living within my means? Is my job a safe environment for me? And there's so many different layers to this. If we're on the healing path, a lot of the time you might feel a calling or a passion, and that's what you want to do full time. But if your dharma is not tied to your karma, and you're out there just doing your passion projects, and that's great, you want to do your passion projects, but if you're not getting money to keep a roof over your head, or to put food in your mouth, or to have a place to sleep that's warm in the winter and cool in the summer, you might need to get a job. A 9-to-5 regular job. There's discernment to be had with this, and how can I make my job a safe environment for myself? How can I stand in my autonomy and in my authority and bring joy and blessings to that space, because I'm receiving something from being there. I'm giving to my community by working in that space. So your job becomes a space of safety and protection. There's also an aspect to this around legal things. Like this the job also rolls into the laws of the place where you live. And you know me, okay? I'm a rebel at heart. So I'm like, yeah, follow the law unless the law is corrupt. So, but that's something I don't want to sweep over in this particular category. I think it's important, again, discernment. It's very important for us to know what is legal or what a rule is within our job, but also how that serves us. If it doesn't serve us with that safety and protection, we should not be bound to that law. Also understanding if we don't listen to those rules or go with those laws, the consequences that there are for that, for us. And if we're okay with those consequences, if we have safety nets for those consequences, a backup plan for those consequences, great, go for it. My whole family knows if I ever get arrested for protesting something, just bail me out. Like, I'll be fine. Here's my little egg that I have stowed away for my bail money, and come get me out. Everything's fine. I'll be back to work the next day. We'll be good. Scooty-doo, we're good. But there's those discernment pieces. The next category, we have physical, environmental, financial/legal, and then we have digital protections. This is social medias. This is channels, things that you watch, things you consume. This is also your data. I don't get on here and tell you guys my physical address, the name and locations of all of my children and all of my family members. This is something that's just inherent. It's a discernment. And you don't do that either. You don't get on here and spill your social security number, although I'll take it if you're giving it. You don't tell people your bank and your routing numbers and account numbers. We have discernment with how much of our data we give to other people. And that's okay. That is a discerning protection of how we steward over our space and our homes and ourselves, our autonomy. You don't want people stealing your identity. You don't want people using your bank account. This is good. That's a good protection to have. You do not have to be so open with everybody that you're giving away all of your data. And yes, I want you to use that metaphorically as well. You do not owe anybody anything to give them all of your data, all of your information, all of your history. Nobody needs to know that. People can get what you decide is worth giving, what you feel safe offering of yourself. And on the social media aspects of it, or just the media aspects of it, your safety can also be based on how much you're consuming or watching. It's simple. When you have a kid, or you are a kid, you know that if you watch a horror film, you're probably going to have nightmares because you're going to be thinking about those things. Those energies are in your mind and in your body. And when you get up in the middle of the night to pee, you just are waiting for someone to grab your ankle from under your bed. Right? You're just waiting for that. And it's the same thing with what we're watching, with what we're listening to, with what we're consuming when we're scrolling, when we're on social media pages, when we're on news channels. We want to stay informed because that also makes us feel safe and gives us a different level of discernment, wisdom, and awareness. While at the same time, listening to our bodies and knowing when something is negatively affecting us. And I mean beyond just giving us that fuel, passion, fire to take action or to do something. This is when we're starting to feel grief and despair and heaviness, and we're starting to take on the energies of what we are watching or what we're interacting with and having to process that. So we have physical, environmental, financial/legal, digital, and we also have economic protections. Money. We're going to protect our money. Some of these you can see kind of border or overlap each other. But with the economic, this is about how the world works. This is your money, your exchanges. And you are in charge of your exchanges. You're in charge of what you spend, of what you buy, of what you cash. of the stocks that you're in. This is all your level of discernment and awareness, right? These are your protections. Your stewardship over your life falls within these categories. You steward over your physical body and your physical space. You steward over your environment. You steward over your finances. You steward over your data. You steward over your money. This is your stewardship. And you can start to see how free will takes a front seat in your specific protections. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this question. Well, why doesn't God come save us? Why don't our guides do this for us? If our guides are there, why are they allowing negativity to come in or for us to be attacked energetically? Free will. Free will. Once you understand how you're stewarding over your life, it's all about free will. I've used this example in the past because I'm driving down the road, right? There's an animal on the side who's been hit by a car, and then I notice that their energy needs to be crossed over. Okay, well, would their energy naturally cross over if I never happened to go there? Like, why does the world need healers? Isn't this something that the guides and the spirits and source energy knows how to take care of? Absolutely, baby doll. Source and guides, they don't need us. We need us. It's all about our free will. It's that soul's free will, whether or not it crosses, according to its level of awareness, how it's stewarded over its own energy field, the emotions that it's going through at the time. Same for you and me. It's my free will whether or not to help that soul. The soul might figure it out, or someone else might come along and help that soul. It's literally all about free will. So how we steward over our space becomes the big thing. And we're going to get to curses. We're going to get to the attraction of all of that kind of stuff. But I just want you to understand this part first and really let it sink in, because I mean it. It's about stewardship, and you'll see why when we get there. We need to think about how our fear and our energy projects into the physical. And we also need to think about how our physical projects into the energetic, especially when it comes to these categories of stewardship. Because if we have a weak body, if we're not eating correctly, if we're not exercising correctly, if we're putting all of our information out there, if we're continuing to go into environments that we know are toxic, everything is breaking down your channel. It's weakening your energy field. Your system is always interacting with your energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your environments, your choices, everything is always interacting with your energy field. And if your energy field becomes weakened, you are susceptible to attack or attachment. This is the part that probably most of you who tuned in actually wanted to know about, because this is the part where we're not always sure how curses or negative energy sent to us has anything to do with free will or stewardship over our space. And I'll tell you how it is. When somebody sends negative energy towards you, or you are under psychic attack, if you have been stewarding over your energy well, if you are grounded, if you have a good balance within your nervous system, if you've done a lot of that healing work, if you don't have those weakened spaces, if you don't have those negative thought systems, odds are those curses or negative energies aren't going to be able to hook into you anyways. They might temporarily cause you some discomfort, but there's not the big, deep hook in. And if you've reached this space where you are being attacked on a regular basis, or where things are starting to hook in, the biggest thing for you to do, which is the free will choice, is to find your self-authority. knowing what you think, what you feel, what you choose is actually the biggest step forward in warding off negative attacks, psychic attacks, curses, anything like that. Standing in your self-authority, using your inner light, your solar plexus, this is the biggest boundary you can place against anything that comes against you. When you have authority with yourself and your space, no, honey child, that's not allowed here. That's not coming here. I don't know who, I've said this to demons in my house before. I don't know who you think you are, but you don't belong here and you don't have any power here. Leave, get out. And if they don't, I will literally just rip them in half with like a light sword, okay? Because this is my space. My space. No one gets to be here. Don't worry, I'm much more empathetic if it's like a lost soul or something like that, because I understand a lost soul is probably only being negative because they've been out of the light for so long. They've just been lost and stuck here on this earth planes for so long. So call in angels, call in some light, call in the opposite vibration of whatever is ailing you. If there's something very dark, very heavy, if it's demonic, you want to call in something angelic to balance that energy, to get those things out and away from you. And it's a free will choice to do that. Your guides let that happen so that you find your inner autonomy. It is your free will choice to decide, I'm going to call in these angels right now. And as soon as you do, there is nothing that can stop those angelic things from flying to you, surrounding you, saving you, getting those things out of your space. That is your free will choice. And sometimes this takes a lot of repeated work. We have to work on our autonomy. We have to work on understanding our self-authority and our value and our worth and our personal power. Sometimes that's linked to the healing work that we just talked about. And that's okay. But you do have the authority and the autonomy and the free will to steward over your space well, even when under energetic attack, even when somebody's cursing you or hexing you or just thinking negatively about you and you feel that negativity coming towards you. All of this is within your power to take care of. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it takes repeated efforts. Sometimes it requires a little bit of support from others. But with your self-authority, with your inner power and your inner knowing and your continued free will choice to not engage with those things, to deserve something better, better things come. The third thing is what I called swimming. And I call it swimming because this is kind of an energetic environmental type of protection. I used to teach my students that the only way something negative can attach to you is if it comes to you and you have a wound inside of yourself that matches it, like a magnetism. So if I have that powerless wound inside of me and it's creating a low vibration here, even if everything else is high vibrating, then when something negative comes that specifically has that same low vibration, it can magnetize to that space. And then I get an attachment, or I keep getting negatively attacked. Maybe it's something from my childhood that put that powerlessness there. So I need to do some healing work. I need to find my self-authority. I need to really be big in my personal power. And that's okay. But I used to teach them that that's the only thing that can really allow an attachment in. Until I learned that yes, that's a thing. And it's about how much you're submerging yourself in that environment. If you go swimming, when you get out of the swimming pool, you're going to be wet until you dry off. Whether the sun or the air dries you off or you use a towel, you're going to be wet. And so if I am swimming in this environment on a daily basis where I'm removing entities from other people, digging through other people's deepest, darkest things to help them find their autonomy and their power, if I'm going on lives and there's groups of people all sending their energy towards me and I'm swimming through groups of people in my energy, when I get out of that, when I turn off that live, when I hang up that phone, when I come out of that session, I'm going to be covered in their energy. Whether that looks like negativity, darkness, attachments, heaviness, whatever that is, I'm covered in it. I'm covered in your boo-boo, right? So there's things to be done about that. This is the understanding that sometimes even if you are at your peak, even if you are eating well, exercising, you have a strong channel, you're autonomous, you know your power, you know your worth, you know your authority, you're making those free will decisions and stewarding over everything well. I'm stewarding over my money well, I'm stewarding over my data well, I'm stewarding over what I'm seeing and consuming well. I'm still swimming in everyone's boo-boo when I go to do their healing or when I'm teaching. Even right now watching this, something in your energy is drawing on my energy because I'm freely giving it to you, because I know that the people watching this need something from me. And that's a beautiful thing to give. And then I also have to cleanse myself. I have to use my physical protections. This isn't necessarily about healing. This is about a physical stewardship over my energy field. Now, how we do physical stewardships over our energy field. Number one, everyone knows this, smoke cleansing. So you can burn cedar, palo santo, sage, agrimony, mugwort. These are herbs. You find cleansing herbs and you burn them. Incense can even do this for you. The smoke. And then you just put it over yourself, around your home, with the intention that it's cleansing everything, and you feel all of that negativity leaving you. Cleanse yourself daily, often, multiple times daily if needed, depending on how many people you're interacting with. And then there is crystal grids. Crystal grids, that's a beautiful way to create those energy lines around you to put yourself in a safe, energetic, protected space. Keep in mind that when you create a crystal grid around yourself, when you're inside of the grid, if you then start having negative thoughts, negative energy, or you get on the phone with someone and there's negativity coming through, your crystal grid is designed to keep things out. But if you're already in, creating the negativity, that's not going to do anything. Like, that's when you're going to have to use your smoke or your other things that we're going to get to here in a second. Your crystal grid will protect you from outside sources, though. So to do a crystal grid in a room or a home, I like to get 4 obsidians. I kind of like the large raw obsidians, and put them in the corners of the room. And then get 1 crystal quartz, and that goes in the very center. Now, if this is a room that you live in, you might want to put it in the center on the ceiling, or somewhere where it's not going to get kicked or walked on. You can even use the little crystal grid mats to represent your whole space or your whole room. So you can put the 4 obsidians in the corners and that quartz right in the center, and let it be known and speak over it that it represents your whole room or your whole house. And then you just imagine all of those crystals connecting together and creating a pyramid of energy over you or over your room or over your space, and it keeps things out like a shield. I also like to use sigils and things like that. I have a sigil here that I wear when I'm guided to. Crystal jewelry can help you with that, especially hematites and obsidians. And those things absorb negative energy so that you don't have to process as much energy. When I wear this sigil, I know that my archangel, who I work with on a daily basis, is with me. There's like this energy around me, especially over my heart space where I heal from, that is bouncing things off. So the crystal grids, the smoke, shower cleanses are very, very powerful as well. When you get in the shower at the end of your work day or after sessions, you just imagine that element of water, which is so powerful, is just cleansing everybody else's energy, all negativity. It's just cleansing everything off of you. And this is a flowing water. So those things are going down the drain. They're going away from you. This is a very powerful visualization. And if you still have some negativity inside of you afterwards or something that you're chewing on, this might signal to you that this is something deeper, that maybe there's a wound there that needs to be healed. Maybe this is self-authority that needs to be found. There's something internal and it's not just external. The shower cleanses, there's also herbal anointings. You can use essential oils. You can rub them on your body, anoint yourself with them. You can anoint the house. You can put them over your windows, over your doors. You can put them in your diffusers. I like to put them in the filter of my vacuum cleaner so that when I vacuum my house, I'm diffusing that oil everywhere in the air. Rue is a really, really good one for protections. Ruta, that's a good one for protections, for power, for energy. But you can also get sage essential oils, Palo Santo essential oils. If your home needs more softness or gentleness or healing, then you can put lavender in that as well. You can do a mixture of oils depending on what you feel like you need in your space. Then you can also do candle work or fire bathing. With candles, when you light a candle, you're using the element of fire. And fire is so powerful for cleansing, for mulching heavy energies, for just getting all of that stuff off of you, for processing emotions, for processing negative thoughts, because fire is transformative, not just cleansing. It takes negativity and turns it into something else. It turns it into positivity, or it just helps process and get those things out of there. So if it is internal, this is something you can process with the fire as well while the flame cleanses you of negativity. And if you want to, you can fire bathe, which is basically just cupping the warmth of the flame and just bringing that over you. Feel yourself just being filled with that fire. I love this. Even in the sun, I like to do this, not just with the candle. I think a fire is very powerful because it's something you're working personally with. You've built the fire or lit the candle. It's in your space. But you can also do this using the element of the sun. You can do sound and frequency type cleansing. So this is your Hertz music or sound baths, gongs, singing bowls. Anything like that can be a very powerful cleanser because it changes the vibration of your body temporarily. If you are doing Hertz music, I would suggest listening for at least 15 minutes so your energy field can entrain to that level. And this is a very powerful method of cleansing yourself as well. And there's so many different Hertz. A 396 Hertz is probably something more stabilizing for your root, whereas a 963 Hertz might be more for your crown. So most of the time, depending on what it is, if you need more grounding energy, if you need to be more regulated, you might want more of the 396, 417. If it's about balance for you, you might want a 639. But if you want like the all over whole body cleansing type thing, maybe you go straight for a 999. That's a real high frequency that can kind of cover everything. So just look into the frequencies, the sound healing. Music is a beautiful sound healer. You can play some music and allow yourself to move in it as long as it's getting in touch with your creative vibrations inside and sparking that inspiration is getting in there. Maybe if you're having a hard day, you might not want to listen to music that brings you down more. But because you've done this intuitively, that You listen to certain musics on certain days because you feel like you can relate to it. You feel like it's helping you process something. So music is a pretty important tool with all of this. There's also something called space anchoring, which is where you essentially are cleansing your space on a daily basis, cleansing your home, your energy field, and you anchor into that whenever you need it. I don't care who you are. You can walk into someone's house who has amazing awareness, amazing wisdom, is a very spiritual person, and if they're not cleansing their house on a regular basis, you're going to walk out of that house covered in them. You want your home to be a very safe, open, clear, cleansed space, so that even if you walk in with a little bit of negative energy from your day, you can feel the welcome there, the neutrality there, that there's space there for you to be different, for you to change that feeling. And all of this is really about your physical regulation. We've done a lot of physical protections here, and if you are physically regulated, nothing can really stay with you long term. Whether you're swimming in someone's energy or whether there's been an attack of some sort, if we're physically regulated, meaning our nervous system is calm, we feel stable, our life is good, we're good physically, we're good stewards. If we're physically regulated, internally regulated, have a strong energy field, there's nothing that can withstand long term. Regardless of where you're at in life, whether you just need to make some small stewardship changes, because when you make those changes, you'll feel better inside, and I promise you will. Like I said, you might be in a space where you're not really broken, where nothing's really wrong. You've done a lot of your healing work, but still somehow you don't feel quite peak or happy or balanced on a daily basis. It might be because we're not doing the physical things. Maybe you're not doing your workouts. Maybe you're not eating the right foods. There are things that we need to steward over better. So whether you're there or whether you're on the opposite end, feeling hopeless and helpless and feeling attacked and you're tired and you're drained and you need support, I promise you can recover from that. You can get better. Get yourself some support. Look to a healer if you need that support. Work on your internal environment in that way, healing and raising those vibrations from the inside. But I want to offer you the hope that your regulation and your self-authority can return, that you've got this, that life can get better, that you can see the light and become regulated in yourself again, and that all can be well. If you need anything, visit our website, earthandstarwellness.com. We have amazing healers there who can help support you, myself included, who can help find that self-authority within you and help you build that up until you can say enough is enough. This is my life. I'm taking control. I'm in power here. I'm Mary Colozzo. Welcome home.